We're first going to talk about the government because we may be in day 2 of a shutdown, but markets are at brand new highs right now. The NASDAQ and the S&P 500 hitting intraday records. Right now, the Dow is up 115. S&P is up 8. NASDAQ is up 95 and change. Now, all of this is after the Dow and the S&P 500 closed at all-time highs just yesterday. Here we go. I'm Cheryl Casoni. Hello, everyone. I'm in for Liz Claman. This is the Claman Countdown. And with the Senate out of session in observance of Yom Kippur, the shutdown is likely to drag into 3 days, maybe more, hindering the release of economic data, such as the September non-farm payrolls report, which was supposed to be released, of course, tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time, like it always is. Well, President Trump on Truth Social said that Democrats have given him a, quote, unprecedented opportunity to slash federal spending and even reduce the workforce. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt was asked how many jobs may be cut during the shutdown. Watch.
Look, it's likely going to be in the thousands. It's a very good question, and that's something that the Office of Management and Budget and the entire team at the White House here, again, is unfortunately having to work on today. These discussions and these conversations, these meetings would not be happening if the Democrats had voted to keep the government open.
Well, the president is set to meet with OMB Director Russ Vought today to decide which cuts to make to different departments, what ones can be permanent or temporary. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent saying earlier today that the GDP may take a hit as a result of the shutdown. For more on all of this in the nation's capital today, let's bring in Counselor to the Treasury Secretary, Joseph Lavorgna. He's live in Washington for us right now. Joe, what do you make of all of this? I mean, I think the question here is, what jobs are cut? She's saying it could be thousands. Where are the cuts? We know that this is something that Russ Vought has wanted to do and something that he's, well, frankly, planned for years. But what would the effect be on the economy?
Right now, thank you for having me, Cheryl. Right now, as the Secretary alluded to earlier today, that there will be a negative hit to GDP. The Congressional Budget Office, for what it's worth, says it's $400 million per day. It could be more than that. The longer it goes, the cumulative effects could be larger. Fortunately, we've got a lot of men and women who are coming to work doing their jobs. They're not getting paid for any of it. This is really sort of a self-inflicted wound that did not have to happen, but it's because the Democrats did not support a clean continuing resolution, something they had done 13 times in a row and as recently as just 6 months ago. So this is the worst sort of politics. I don't know when the government will reopen, but it's certainly not helping the economy. It's not helping the average worker. So we'll see where it goes. The good news is that the economy is back under President Trump's policies, but it doesn't mean in the short term this shutdown will not cause pain. Well,
certainly. I mean, look, you made the point that we've had, what, 13 clean funding bills before of this. So all of a sudden, you know, they found religion on the Democratic side, even though this is something that they had always done in the past. It is a political risk. And for whatever reason, the Democrats think that they can survive this ahead of the midterms. That's the politics. But on the economics of this, in particular with the health care argument, I want to get your take on that because the messaging seems to be kind of the story right now in Washington as far as health care benefits to illegals. Where do you land on that?
Right. So the One Big Beautiful Bill, or OBBB, did tighten up the requirements for people to receive health care. That's very important. We spend a tremendous amount of money on health care and do not want to give health care to illegal immigrants. That's something that the Republicans, understandably so, is not negotiable for them. That's an 80-20 issue that the president won an historic election on, and certainly that's something that they're not going to reverse course. So, and I'm not sure exactly where the leverage the Democrats have, because right now they're hurting the economy. They're hurting the middle and lower income worker who depends on their paycheck. People do, unfortunately, live paycheck to paycheck. So they'll get paid. They will get paid, but we're causing unnecessary hardship here in the short term. And that's a real problem, Cheryl. And I hope the problem is rectified soon, but I don't know when the government will reopen.
Well, it looks like we're not going to be getting that jobs report for the month of September tomorrow. But, you know, Senator Elizabeth Warren actually just putting out a very lengthy statement saying that she wants that data released. Her point is that markets depend on that data. Your response?
So she should vote. So she should vote then for a continuing clean resolution and open the government, and then we can get all the data that's coming out. What is positive, and I'm an optimist, is that GDP has taken off under President Trump. His first full quarter in office, GDP grew nearly 4%. It was private sector led. Estimates for the third quarter are similarly large, up near 4%. A lot of it, Cheryl, is in capital spending, capital investment. It's companies spending on infrastructure and capital that they're going to give their workers to produce more so that the companies can make more and then pay their workers more. This is very symptomatic of what happened during President Trump's first term. The job market is not good. It's not good because we learned after the fact there were 2 million in downward revisions to the non-farm payroll data. The handoff from the prior administration to this one did not show a great labor market. GDP is great because companies are investing because they've got faith in President Trump's policies. And historically, when companies spend on capital, they then will hire workers. So we think it's a soft patch. But again, the longer this goes with the government shutdown, it's only been 2 days, this will pose some risks to the economy and unnecessary risks that we should not be taking.
Any idea when you think we're going to get the new nominee to run BLS? Because E.J. Antoni's nomination was pulled by the White House.
Yes, and I like E.J. I think E.J. would have been fantastic. I don't know. I know there are other people under active consideration, and I'm confident who's ever chosen will do a good job. Certainly, you can't have revisions in the direction and the magnitude that they've been in for as long as they were, and not have some accountability. So I do think whoever runs the agency will do a much better job. But when that is, we don't know.
I've only got about 30 seconds with you, Joe, but real quick, Treasury Secretary Bessent was on this morning. He talked about help for the soybean farmers. China has not been buying soybeans. That was promised this year. We know that. At the same time, the tariff income, is that something that you think is doable? Take some of that money that came in from the tariffs and maybe funnel that over to the farmers as the trade negotiations with China continue.
The president has hinted at that, and the secretary today mentioned there's going to be a big announcement on Tuesday, so we can't get out in front of that. But I will tell you, on the tariff side, we raised over $30 billion in September, and we're on track for a $300 billion annual raise, Cheryl. And that has put the U.S. fiscal house in order, which many people did not believe the Treasury could do. But with Secretary Bessent's leadership and the president's vision, the deficit trajectory looks incredibly better. And when we get that strong growth continuing, especially next year, the outlook is excellent.
Joe Lavorgna, it's always great to speak with you. Come back anytime, sir.
Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you.